Take a look at these pictures that Stu Peters posted. This is crazy stuff right here. We got this tweet. Stu Peters says, Ohio, this is what's happening to cars after driving through spurts of rain 70 plus miles southeast of the East Palestine incident. Yeah, that's like relatively close to where we are. I think that's like where you are.
Uncomfortably close to where I am.
Uncomfortably. Yeah. Take a look at these pictures. So, okay. All right. Maybe this is nothing. I don't want to, it's a tweet saying this is, it's just people posting on the internet. We don't know that it's true, but look at these photos. They're covered in, I don't know, man. It looks like salt almost. Like, look at this, these streaks.
Yeah, it does
What's
look like
going on?
it looks like someone drove their car through like New England after
like the salt.
But
and
it looks like the paint even like kind of flaked off or something. Especially here, like, what is this?
That's weird residue.
Yeah, I mean, weird residue.
There
man.
was no way to avoid that cloud was black. There was definitely residue falling back to Earth, right? It's just a question of, is this residue toxic? I guess Pete
if it's doing that
says
to cars,
no.
I really don't want to gamble on whether or not I want it inside me.
It's going to be in like 10 years. You're going to be watching YouTube, and you're going to be watching, Timcast IRL, and we're going to be really old people. I'm just kidding. I'll be 47, so I won't sound like that. But then all of a sudden, an ad's going to play, and it's like, did you live within 200 miles of East Palestine, Ohio?
Yep.
Yep. You may, and are you suffering from breathing problems? You may be entitled to a large cash settlement. Contact the law firm of
non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
I said this yesterday.
Mesothelioma.
I said this yesterday, but one of the hazmat responders to the scene said everyone should go get their health evaluated right now, so they have a base point to track what happens next to their bodies, because you don't know what's going to happen. So having a basic physical right now will be able to potentially help you in a class action lawsuit. He didn't say that part, I did. But if you can't tell what's wrong with you, it'd be easy for a company to be like, oh well, how do we know you didn't already have markers for leukemia?
Apparently, people were saying like Aaron Brockovich was saying something. Oh yeah. Aaron Brockovich is speaking up now, asking Biden to step up as people fall sick and animals drop dead after Ohio train derailment. Could this be what knocks Biden out of the race? Maybe a failure to respond to an obvious, massive,
disaster.
Potentially the worst disaster chemical spill in this country.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already extremely unpopular. I don't see why it couldn't be a situation where people have a significant turn against the administration.
Isn't that the plot of The West Wing? They're like, one of the seasons, they're like, Republican is doing well in the race, and then there's a factory fire or something, and he just can never recover from it. I could be misremembering this.
I was never a West Wing fan.
Well, you're not a political nerd, Phil.
Well, I mean, there's one. I can't do episodic TV. I just don't have the patience.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. But the fact that Aaron Brockovich is making remarks,
Right. Yeah.
They made a movie about her.
Oh yeah,
with Julia Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and she did. She did win the case. I don't remember the details of the case, but
yeah, it was like chromium in the water or something.
It was a big finding. So,
how would Biden respond to this to handle it? We're 10 days out. I don't feel like he's given a strong response to it. Is there any way for us not to look at him and be like, why did we not have a? I mean, I've heard, maybe you can speak to this more, that the Red Cross doesn't really have a strong presence in the area, that there's not a lot of information, that people are having problems in the government, the government agencies that are employed there are doing nothing.
I've probably heard about the same as you, but it seems like that there is no response of any kind from any level. Any
literally
agency.
nothing.
And I've even seen unsubstantiated, but journalists are being arrested that are trying to get
One,
too close.
at least.
And I always like to.
But that was
at a press conference.
Yeah, and apparently he was just being noisy, and he was like doing his
as
live
journalists
report
tend to
during,
do, as they tend to do. But I mean, I always can't help but think, what would happen if the former guy, this happened underneath him? This would be world-ending news.
Yeah.
If this happened under
Oh,
Trump.
yeah.
This would be the worst possible thing. And it doesn't matter how it happened; it would be his fault. Mm-hmm. So now that because it's Biden, it just does he?
You know what I heard? I heard Biden did it.
I mean, that's
I heard the same thing.
It's that easy to point the finger, right? It's clearly his fault. Thanks,
so
Biden.
He's so obsessed with trains. It does seem like something he'd do.
Yeah, I know a guy, and his brother knows one of the people who lives just outside of the town, whose friend lived nearby. He said he saw Biden right there.
Good enough for me. If it's good enough for them, why isn't it good enough for us?
Right, exactly.
Absolutely good enough.
So someone close to the Biden administration office says that Joe Biden personally derailed the train.
Wow.
The person close to the office was the homeless guy in the alley, but he was physically close to the
Physically
office. So
close.
I'm telling you the truth. Right?
That's the narrative.
That's how they play those games, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, in all seriousness, I don't think. And the Biden administration came out and just said the air was safe. That's about it. And now there's dead fish washing up in streams. There's one guy who breeds foxes, says they're all sick, and the chickens are dead.
Yeah.
The chickens being dead, that crossed the line.
Grinch on
Across
the air
the
is going to
line.
be like, no, that's just a coincidence. We said the air was safe. Everything's okay. Like, they're just going to continue to try to sidestep this, which is crazy.
What would you do? I'd leave. And we've even
have to
talked
leave.
about leaving here now. We're downwind from the incident. We're not in the direct water impacted area because we're in the panhandle. But still, people are saying like, hey, look, man, someone super chatted just now saying, looks like a storm's going to come through. And those storm patterns, they move eastward, which means we could get rained on with this stuff.
Yeah.
So what should we do? Should we lock up the chickens, keep them safe and protected, and keep them out of the rain?
So you
That
should
rain comes through,
definitely-
it could kill the chickens,
You
man.
should
No
definitely
joke.
keep the chickens keep the chickens in the coop.
This is tough because if that stuff does come through the rain and it rains here, it's going to go in the ground and there's nothing we can do. It will be in the ground everywhere. And there's no way to protect the chickens other than building a sealed, airtight, hyperbaric chamber that we pump air and food into to keep them safe. And that's just because they're little chickens. We'll still be breathing in all the garbage and getting sick.
Yeah,
I think the challenge for you, delegate, is that what I say? Is I say delegate? Like,
Yeah, that would work.
okay, your county is much closer. You're in the water radius. I mean, what do you do? What do you do?
I've had a lot of people ask me that question, and this is my least favorite answer to give to that question is I don't know. I have to sit here and wait for the information to be drip fed to me. I'm praying to God that the information that I'm getting is accurate, or at the very least accurate. Best case, it's helpful, or it will provide a little bit of comfort. But I don't know what we can do. We're just at the mercy of this extremely unnatural event. It's possibly what I can't think of any worse man-made chemical disaster that's happened on American soil. So we just have to sit here and effectively take it. And all I have to do is, I have to trust the science, trust the experts.
This speaks to how badly trust has been damaged in the government generally. I mean, I'm a libertarian leaning kind of dude anyways, so I don't generally trust the government. But when you've got your average people that have spent 2 years dealing with all the pandemic inconsistencies, we'll call it, between about the treatments and what the best practices are, it's been so back and forth and so erratic and so just so inconsistent. You can't expect people to look at the government and be like, oh yeah, I feel good about the information that I'm getting, and I feel confident that you're telling me that this isn't going to be a problem, and I believe you. I don't think that there are a lot of people that feel that way anymore.
I think it's telling that Biden has not publicly addressed the situation. Obviously, Americans are concerned about it. If it really is like things are okay, then have him come out and make a statement about it. Have Kamala come out and make a statement about it. I mean,
We got a
what's
super
happening?
chat from Brandon Angel, said, my buddy lives in Wellsville, Ohio. He's 20 miles out from the incident. He was told not to drink the water anymore. He's been having headaches, chest pain, and feeling sick
God.
since it happened. I believe an imageless profile super chatting a live show on the internet more than the Biden administration on this one. When a stranger, someone I've never met, comments and says, a guy I know is sick, I believe it. Because I saw a video of dead chickens. And so when the Biden administration comes out and says whatever they want to say, you know what I would say to people? Here's my advice. We're close enough to the wind, to the air, that if a storm rolls through, this stuff could hit us as well. So the only thing I'd say is you can see the black smoke. Do you trust the media? Don't know. Do you trust the government? Probably not. So then make the decision for yourself. And that might mean you may decide to evacuate. That may mean you make less money. That may mean you struggle to find somewhere to go and wait it out safely for what, how long, a month? Or you decide to stay. And you may make the wrong decision. Me personally, we're actually looking at maybe, just rescheduling the show and maybe going down somewhere for a few weeks because we don't want to get caught up in a storm that might roll through. But then what? We got the chickens here anyway. Not every person can leave. So what? Just the IRL crew leaves? That's tough, man. That's a tough decision. So my advice to people who live in the area is, if you can get out and figure it out. If you can. That's my advice. I'm not saying you should take it. I'm just saying if I were you and I lived directly in the water basin of impacted area, yeah, I'd probably buy a bunch of water right now, fill up as much water as I can, and even now it may be too late, because this has been going on for what, a week and a half now? Yeah, it may be too late. It's been a week and a half of this. Yeah. That's kind of worrying.
And this is what really causes my heart to hurt so much, is I think about the places that I've been in West Virginia through work or anything political or otherwise, and I've seen the hills, I've seen the hollers, I know the people that are there. They've been there for generations. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. It doesn't matter if nuclear bombs are going off, but they just have to sit there and have this happen to them. And they'll be lucky if they even get information that's semi-accurate from any agency, any level of any government. It does not matter. It's just going to sit there and happen to them. It's going to rain on them, and it's going to ruin their life, and they can't do a thing about it.
We normally save super chats at the end, but we got a bunch of them that are coming that I think are good, and definitely fact check. But Tyler B says the rain is hydrochloric acid. I don't know if that's true, but he says vinyl chloride burns, releasing hydrogen chloride, which bonds with the water vapor in the clouds. Stay out of the rain at all costs. Now, I don't know if that's true. You want to look that up? I do know that they said the vinyl chloride will burn, creating hydrogen chloride and go up in the air. That's something they reported in the press. And that makes sense. The hydrogen would bond with water vapor.
Well, I have this from something I wrote earlier today. The EPA says that because they burn the vinyl chloride, there is no threat of the hydrochloride.
Hydrochloric acid?
Yeah, they said there's not an issue. But
somehow I just don't believe these people.
I don't believe them
experts
either.
say,
Yeah,
that's
right?
usually a tip that something is amiss.
I'm looking it up because I think this is really important right now, man. I mean, especially for me, because, we're here. Acid rain. Hey, take a look at this. From USGS, the U.S. Geological Survey, acid rain. And then one of the things that was in, what are we looking for? Here we go. Hydrogen chloride, which converts to hydrochloric acid. Well, that's strange. This says... Acid deposition, commonly called acid rain, is a term applied to all forms of atmospheric deposition of acidic substances, rain, snow, fog, acidic dry particulates, aerosols, and acid-forming gases. Water in the atmosphere reacts with certain atmospheric gases to become acidic. For example, water reacts with carbon dioxide in the atmosphere to produce a solution with a pH of about 5.6. Gases that produce acids in the presence of water in the atmosphere include carbon dioxide, oxides of sulfur and nitrogen, and hydrogen chloride, which converts to hydrochloric acid. And they're saying there's no risk of it.
They're saying we burned it all off and you're good to go. Don't even worry about it.
Well, if the EPA said it, that's good enough for me.
They're
right?
burning the vinyl chloride, creating hydrogen chloride, going into the atmosphere, which the USGS.gov literally says can convert into hydrochloric acid and produce acid rain.
Mm-hmm.
So was this like a local police decision to burn this? Like,
No,
who made the
it's
call?
Norfolk Southern. They worked with the Ohio EPA, or they're the train operator, and they're like our best bet to prevent this thing exploding and sending shrapnel
Was
everywhere
burning it.
was to have a controlled burn.
There's a couple people in the chat that are saying that they've got family that are sick or that they're feeling sick that are in the area.
And this is so the other part of this EPA update that I used and updated on the story today is that. Again, I'm just going to read directly. On the evening of February 13th, the U.S. EPA discontinued air monitoring for phosphogene and hydrochloride community air monitoring.
Wait. Read that one more time.
On the evening of February 13th, the U.S. EPA discontinued air monitoring for phosphogene and hydrogen chloride community air monitoring. So they're saying you're good.
Nothing to see here. We stopped tracking it.
They're saying after the fire was extinguished on February 8th, the threat of vinyl chloride fire-producing phosphogene or hydrogen chloride no longer exists. So
yeah, maybe.
They say you're good, Tim. Don't leave. The EPA says stay.
I every time we talk about this, I can hear Luke Rudkowski screaming all the way from Florida about the air on 9/11.
Yeah.
The EPA said it was safe to breathe. It's a huge scandal.
Yeah.
Jon Stewart goes on TV and before Congress all the time. They came out and said the air was safe to breathe, get to work. And now all of these first responders, their lungs are scar tissue. Cancers, they're dying. That's some of the darkest stuff ever, man.
I mean, if you can, it's not a bad idea I know everyone's going to have a feeling about masking, but now is the time to pull out that 3M mask, that the big ones with the.
Right?
But how interesting is it that now you have a bunch of people who see masking as, a form of oppression by the government, which I totally think is fair. but this is actually the time when we needed it.
Yeah, this is the time where you need but that
is different.
Yeah, this isn't like where a t-shirt's gonna work. You need like serious.
I already said people
know.
should get their significant others gas masks for Valentine's Day.
Yes,
All right.
that is true.
That's true.
So I just want to wrap this part of it by saying, if I was in anywhere near this, I'd be calling a relative and being like, "Can we come stay with you for a little bit?"
Yeah.
Maybe just let the rains come in, give it a couple weeks. I don't know. Maybe it's too difficult. I get it. But
For everybody else, get water. Like even if you're not in the area, you should have some storage water in your house
and
you know?
food.
Yeah.
But think about this. It could be 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 where you decide to go on a vacation, go visit relatives a couple states over. But maybe if you stay and these chemicals are killing chickens, it could be a lifetime of cancer or disease. I'm not saying I know for sure. I'm not a doctor. So it's hard. I'm just distrusting of the official government statement, but maybe they're not wrong. I just would personally not believe they were right. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.